Alright guys, let's work through this together. This is your routine for analyzing maps. Step 1, annotate. Where to look. Find all of the common features on the map that are included on the one you are analyzing and examining. And examine them carefully. I can't read today. Remember, dog tails. This helps you remember to look for all the stuff. Especially important is the date, right? When was this map created? The orientation, right? What direction is it facing? Is it going north, east, south, west? Where's it going? Grid is latitude and longitude. We don't look at that super often. Scale is important to know how big it is in real life. Title, super important. What's the name of this map? It tells you a lot in the title, right? Map of United States in 1917. That's helpful to know. The author who wrote the map or made the map. An index we don't use very often. Legend is the key, right? What does the little star mean? What does the circle mean? What does the dotted line mean? And the source. Where did this map come from? Okay. So what to do in step 1? Circle, underline, or star important information. Put a question mark next to information on the map that confuses you. Write notes on the map or in the margins of information you think relates to the map or questions you have. So mark up the important stuff, right? Draw a star, draw an exclamation mark, circle it, underline it, whatever you want to do. Put a question mark if something confuses you. If you see something on the map where you're like, I don't remember what that is, or I don't know why that's there. Put a question mark. And then write notes. It's okay to write on things, especially online. It's awesome. You could write on the side. You can write on the map. Write on it. It's great. Step 2. Oh, I would pause after each one of these, read them, and highlight what is important to you. Not I would do. You need to do. So pause this now. Okay, now that you've done step 1, come back and we do step 2. Step 2, the historical context. Look at the date that the map represents. This is usually found in the title of the map if it's a secondary source, and the source information if it's the primary source. Right? It's usually at the top, right? Map of America in 1917. Or it's at the bottom to tell you when it's from. So look at that. That's super important because then you know what's happening kind of in the world when this map was made. The geographic context. Look at the edges of the map and identify the landforms and bodies of water that are on the outside of the space shown. So look at it. How much did they know was there, right? Way back when, they didn't know how big the land was or how small it was. So it looks real weird in comparison to what we know now because we can see it from space. So we definitely know what it looks like now. They couldn't see it from space in the 1600s. Okay, so that's where to look. What to do for step 2. Identify the historical events that occurred around the same time as the time period represented on the map, right? You're probably looking at a map that has to do with the time period you're studying in class, usually. Unless you're like far into the future and you're looking at stuff from the past, or like me, as someone who studies all of history, I look at stuff and I have to remember what happened. But explain the cause and effect connections between those events and on the map, and the things that are on the map. Right? If you're studying the 13 colonies of America, only part of America is only going to be on that map because the other part isn't actually part of the country yet. So think about what's happening in history at the same time. Geographic context, you're going to describe the location of the space shown on the map in relation to the rest of the world, right? Where is this thing? Is it on the southern hemisphere, the northern hemisphere, west of Africa, north of Asia? Where is this thing? Identify the regions and continents on the map and what landforms, bodies of water, and states or civilizations, empires, nations were or are nearby. So figure out what's on the map, right? What is this a map of? Is it all of America? Is it part of it? Is it all of Asia? Is it just Russia? Look at it. All right, pause here. And then come back when you're done highlighting that section for what is important. Welcome back. This is only funny if you're actually pausing it. So, back to step 3. Step 3, read the title of the map. Read the sourcing information, and that's the information at the bottom about where the map is from. Sometimes they will tell you, like, this is the map made by Queen Victoria for her army. They'll tell you stuff like that sometimes. So make sure you read the title, which is almost always at the top, and read the source information, the captions at the bottom. Here's some questions of what you should do when you look at those things. Excuse me. Answer the type of sourcing questions you might use for historical documents. They're kind of the same. Who wrote it? When was it written? Where was it written? What type of source is this? That's primary or secondary. Why was it written, right? Why did they make this map? Why did they create this? What's its purpose? What's its job? Think about that. What's the author's perspective? That's huge, right? Does this person making the map work for just one country and they want to show that country bigger? Are they working for someone who wants to use that land, so they're going to make it look like there's lots of land to use? Are they trying to tell people not to come to their place, so they're going to make it look bad? What's their perspective? Why are they making this map, and how do they view the world? Are they only putting on things that were created by their people, or are they putting on things that are other villages or other nationalities of people? Things to think about. And how is this source useful? How is this source not useful, right? Is it a good map that you can learn things from? Or is it a not good map and you need more information? You got to decide. So pause here, look through that section again, highlight important things, and then come back. All right, step 4, last step. Examine the map as a whole thing. Pay close attention to the title, what the author chose to include in the legend, in the key, and represented through the symbols on the map and the label. So, looking at the title and the key mostly. Here are the questions you'll ask yourself. Try to answer these questions. What is the main idea of the map? What's its idea? Why is this made? What claim does this author make? Just like when you're writing a paragraph, what is your claim? What is he trying to tell you? Is he trying to tell you, or she? Just most maps were made by he's back then because girls weren't allowed to do stuff. Is this map, does it have a job? Is it trying to convince you something? Is it trying to show you something? What evidence does the author use? Right? Is there a lot of evidence that he puts into the map to show you what is happening? What language does the author use to persuade the map's audience? Okay? This is not things like, does he write in English, Arabic, or Chinese? Not that kind of language. More like, in the English language, what does he pick to use? Right? Are there words? Are there phrases? Are there images? Are there symbols? Right? What symbol does he use to represent things? Are the good things represented with good symbols and the bad things represented with bad symbols? Does it matter which group makes the symbols? Things to think about. And how do the map's language and symbols indicate the author's perspective? How can you tell what the author's looking at this for, or their goal, based on what is on the map? I know this is a lot to think about, but when we look at maps, we do kind of think of all of these things when we are doing them. So, what I'd like you to do, after I'm done talking, finish up step 4, where you will highlight the important parts there. Then later on, you are going to analyze a map down here using these steps. So this video will be on the page if you would like to use it later to remind yourself how to do these steps. All right, guys, you're going to do great. Have fun.